sort of curious. Aaron Latham's working on a biography, and I'd like you to respond, if you would, briefly, Aaron, on the Charter's biography and how you think yours might be different, or what you might try to develop in it.
I got it.
Well, I haven't read the Charter's biography. I think it is. I haven't read the Charter's biography just because I thought I'd want to finish mine first before I just wanted to get the shape of my book down before I started in reading hers. The main thing that I've had is the main difference is going to be that I have letters that Kerouac wrote, and the cooperation of the estate and the agent, along with. I guess one thing that I know just from reading reviews that she talks about is how On the Road came to be written. And supposedly the myth is that Jack Kerouac wrote On the Road in 3 weeks. He got this continuous roll of paper, put it in the typewriter, and wrote On the Road in 3 weeks. And I'm told that in her book she debunks this. Yet another myth shot down, like Paul Revere didn't really ride to spread the alarm. All these myths go. Jack Kerouac didn't really ride On the Road in 3 weeks. One of the things that I did find out, went back and looked at John Holmes' journals, went back and got the original manuscript of On the Road, and it turns out the myth is actually true. He really did ride On the Road, not in 3 weeks, but actually in 20 days. There was one of his friends, a guy named Canastra, had been an artist.
Bill Canastra, right.
Had been an artist, and he had an apartment down near the village. He was a
lawyer. He was a lawyer, actually, but he had a loft on 21st Street and 7th Avenue.
And he
sometimes worked in the bakery.
At any rate, he happened to get on a subway one day, and he was going someplace out in the Bronx or wherever, and suddenly he decided he'd like to get off the subway and have a drink at a bar that he remembered nearby. And he got about halfway off the subway when it started out.
He went out.
And
that's when I came in on the scene. Right, Alan?
Yeah.
When Canasta went out, I came in. That dumb fucker put his head in a moving train.
Yes.
Out the window. Flash, flash. Out.
So at any rate, that was the end of Bill.
What do you mean quiet? It's the truth.
That was the end of Bill Canastra, trying to get off the subway when it was moving. He hits the end of the line, and he was killed. So Canastra, his apartment was taken over by one of his girlfriends. And Jack Kerouac went around one day to see the girlfriend. Actually went around because he thought there was a party at Canastra's. And it turns out there's no party, but there's this girl there. So pretty soon, Canastra marries a girl named Joan Alley and moves into that apartment. And what should he find there but Chinese art paper, 20 feet long strips of Chinese art paper. So he took the strips and pasted them all together into a strip that was 120 feet long and rolled it into his typewriter and started writing On the Road. I mean, just the weird way things happen in this man's life. If Canastra hadn't decided to get off the subway, he wouldn't have been killed. The girlfriend wouldn't have had the apartment. Kerouac would not have found the Chinese art paper, and American literature would have been different.
Let's keep this factual. Alan, when did he get the roll of paper? I thought he got it from UPI.
My understanding was that he got a roll of teletype paper, quote-unquote teletype, from
UPI.
From Lucian Carr,
UPI.
who was at that time living, I think,
that's the
with
truth.
me.
You better, if you're going to write a
door.
biography, baby, get it straight.
Wait a minute. Next door, and used one of Lucian's teletype rolls, I think.
And Jarvis, don't you tell me to shut up again.
I never said that.
You did.
Oh, take it easy.
Well,
Wait.
He's sensitive.
actually,
I
it's,
said it in Greek too, you know.
I mean, it's in Kerouac's letters that he
used the
art
Chinese paper?
It's true that all his later books, once he discovered this technique of using a continuous roll of paper, he knew Lucian Carr, who was still at UPI, and Lucian Carr gave him teletype paper on which he wrote Big Sur, Maggie Cassidy, all the later books. But at any rate,
the original one was in Chinese art paper pasted together.
right, and it's in fact it's intact in Sterling Lord's safe.
Uh-huh.
Well, you know, he gave me a roll, Mexican City Blues on roll, his beautiful poetry, Al, and I sold that to buy dope. Beautiful. See, he's in those safe, it's gone. And I just shot it in my arms beautifully. And Jack cried. Jack, oh good God, Gregory's taking dope.
There was a couple of,
You fucking lush.
Nobody can hear it.
Why don't you,
That was true.
Speak into that.
I don't,
I saw that teletype roll when he was
working.
typing on it. He moved to 21st Street,
Right.
or moved over to the west side, to a street which was later occupied by Leroy Jones. Maybe 7 years later, 8 years later, 60, 61, 59, 60, 61. In, it was a one-room apartment that he lived in.
Right.
Bed in the middle of the room, kitchenette.
21st Street, I think.
Yeah, and a screen, a sort of one of those,
The screen covering
the area where he worked, I
he
think.
works right in the middle of the room.
Yeah.
Uh,
But I thought it was a
about
teletype roll.
20 feet from the window, so he can
Yeah.
unroll
Yeah.
enough to tell himself.
Hey,
where he is.
Jarvis, you know when you talk about masturbation with Kerouac, he hit the high-class shot, but he got it unnaturally. I got it in the natural way because I was in prison, and you have to jerk off in prison, you see? But it's the best masturbation.
doesn't it get boring, Gregory?
It's not boring at all, masturbation. It's beautiful. You come all over yourself when you come. What are you talking about?
Well, you've got to be a poet, right?
What?
You've got to be imaginative, creative, is that it?
No way. You got to think in your head what you're coming for, yeah.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
Can I ask,
Jack's fantasy was black panties.
Aaron, did you want to conclude, or
Well, the
You know what mine was, Alan, jerking off by?
Gregory.
Women bending down for their baby carriages. Oh, God. Can you imagine? I get my dick erected like that.
They're okay. That's,
Aaron?
well, anyway, the point of the story is that the role still exists, and
Yeah.
at any rate, and you're going back over it, you find that actually very little, very little of it was ever changed. I mean, it went right, was published almost exactly as he wrote it in that 20 days. They, his editor at the Viking Press made him cut some of it because...
You ever jerk off, Eric?
No, let him finish. Come on.
Now, when have we ever jerked off?
Let him finish, Gregory, please.
Finish jerking off.
Anyway, the point of the story was that this great myth is true. I mean, he did write it in 20 days,
yeah.
and it was a whole new beginning for his way of writing, and really for a lot of people's.
His speech then was that he could type athletically 120 words a minute at best, so he was able to transcribe instantaneously all the flash thoughts that went through his head and continue with one
Alan,
single
Without
stream.
misspelling.
Alan, may I ask you something?
Sure.
You know, didn't he write some of these, weren't they some of these handwritten manuscripts?
Pardon me?
Handwritten manuscripts.
Well, he has lots of those.
A lot of those, right?
He wrote
Yeah,
Dr.
with a very
Sax's
athletic
hand.
hand.